serious the matter was, discussed with you the potential punishment that lied in wait, and that he thought, he was assured that you realized the magnitude of the situation. And we know this because he said it and then followed up by saying, so when I saw the video this weekend, I was shocked, because he couldn't believe and never surmised that literally weeks after suspending Ja Morant for 8 games, costing him over $600,000, putting a Nike deal, a Powerade deal in jeopardy, that we would be sitting here this soon after that conversation. So now the commissioner, to me, guys, has essentially said, I have to make sure I send a message, and a message is coming once this investigation concludes.
I think he felt betrayed. That's what it sounded like to me. That he would, and he should feel that way. He sat face to face and he lied to him, and has flagrant disregard for his own career, for the league and the enterprise that is the NBA that makes it possible for him to do this, and the perception of everybody in it. So, yeah, it ought to be big consequences coming. I mean, that's what I'm hearing too, Stephen A.
And I piggyback off of both of what you guys are saying, because coincidentally, Commissioner Silver and I talked to him on the same day.
Yeah.
And we had the same conversation. And what I heard from the commish is that not only is Ja going to get punished severely, but he's going to do it to the point where it also affects the rest of the team. And I mean number of games. Because if you're without a superstar like Ja Morant for 30 games or 40 games, that ruins what they're thinking about doing for the draft. It basically ruins their entire offseason. It ruins their preseason, and it puts a damper on their anticipation of next year, because they know he's not going to be a part of what they're doing.
Guys,
real quick, yeah.
Ja Morant messed it up for a whole lot of players, because you're looking at a commissioner that clearly feels compelled to send a message to dissuade repeat actions such as this. He's going to set an example now. That's what I got from it.
It's a mess. There's no question about it. We'll continue to follow it, obviously, but this is a great night.
Adam Silver. And Adam, obviously, we are here in Chicago for what is sure to be a special night in the draft lottery, which will decide where Victor Wembanyama, a generational talent, is headed. But let's start here, because this is the second time in about 2 months that Ja Morant, the star of the Memphis Grizzlies, has been seen on social media brandishing a firearm. And before he was reinstated after his suspension last time, he flew to New York. He sat down, he met with you. What did you say to him about how much more severe it would be if he did this again?
Well, we talked directly about the consequences first before we got to a subsequent potential to have done something wrong. We were very focused on the misconduct that was in front of us at the time. And frankly, most of our conversation was about how incredibly serious the first incident was of waving, a firearm on social media. And again, and the consequences there, an 8-game suspension was pretty serious, and something that he, at least to me, seemed to take incredibly seriously in that time. And we spoke for a long time about not just the consequences that could have on his career, but the safety issues around it. Could have injured, maimed, killed himself, someone else with an act like that. And also the acknowledgement that, as you said, he's a star. I mean, he has an incredibly huge following. Yeah. And that my concern, and I thought he shared with me, that millions, if not tens of millions of kids globally would see him as having done something that was celebrating in a way, that act of using a firearm in that fashion. And so I at least was left with the sense that he was taking this incredibly seriously. So honestly, I was shocked when I saw this weekend that video. Now, we're in the process of investigating it. And we'll figure out exactly what happened to the best we can then. The video's a bit grainy and all that, but I'm assuming the worst, but we'll figure out, exactly what happened there.
Let's shift to where we are, why we are here, this draft and Victor Wembanyama, because there is no doubt, Commissioner, that he has been called a generational talent, the best prospect since X or Y, or maybe just the best prospect ever. But I want to hear it in your words. What do you see in Victor Wembanyama and what he means for the league?
First of all, I had the opportunity to meet him. We played a game in Paris, the Bulls and the Pistons in January. He came to the game and he sat courtside, so I had an opportunity to spend some time with him. So first of all, just my impression was he's an incredible young man. I mean, he's all of 19 years old, but he's at least, I didn't take out a yardstick or a meter stick, whatever they use in France, but he certainly seemed all of 7'4" to me. Yeah. And again, he's already a professional and has been a professional for a few years in France. So he's playing at a high level already. I mean, I don't want to put even more pressure on him than you just did. He clearly, appears to be a generational talent, and there's lots of other examples of generational talents coming in this league who've met expectations and some who haven't. But I have no reason to believe he won't. There's an incredible amount of basketball being played all around the world,
yep.
which is also really cool that this league has become, in my time, multiple decades now in the NBA, increasingly global and only becoming more so with players like Victor.
Tonight we get to see how the ping pong balls will fall and who will get the right to draft Victor Wembanyama. And he is coming into a league where one trend I wanted to hit on here, Adam, was that we've seen a coaching carousel in these last couple of weeks, most recently earlier today with Doc Rivers and the Philadelphia 76ers. What do you think that says about the state of the league, that we're seeing this high turnover, particularly of coaches who have recently been in the finals or won it all?
Well, one, it's a brutal profession in many ways. That, the rewards are fantastic, but it's as high a pressure position as virtually anyone in this league can be in, on the front line. Thousands of fans screaming at you. This stress around, winning and all that. And so it says, number one, how many teams feel they have really competitive teams, and that's often why they're making coaching changes, because they think they're right there. Whether that's the missing element, who knows? I will say it's not, even the amount of turnover we've had this year is not statistically that different than we've had historically. It's just the nature of that job. And even the three most recent coaches, I think, that lose their jobs also, they had come from other teams. In some cases, a coach like Doc has been head coach at multiple teams. And I have every reason to believe he and others will end up back on the, in the floor as a head coach again. But this is the nature of this league, and I think sometimes it's the chemistry. It has nothing, they don't go from being great coaches to bad coaches from one year to the next. It has to do with the chemistry with the team, style. Maybe it's that somebody believes the players need to hear a new voice. But I'm incredibly sympathetic. I mean, again, it's a rough-ass side of this business, and I think they understand it. They choose this profession. And they're my friends, and I hate to see it.
Adam, as always, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us.